Why am I fear? Because I fear to one God in flesh. So I fear in street alone. You don't count in flesh. And Christ said, condemn no one, and let no one condemn you. So if I didn't say the Son of God, you're just the Son of God. You say again, when you see one, you see in Christ. No man can be that word. You will practice and your history. You know, what I know. You know? So I am the Son of the living God. And daughter. God and goddess of the earth. But I for falling, why were you falling? I know it should come back from the earth. Not by gun, not by sword, but by word, sound, and power. By giving back our life. That's it. So why? Right to the matter and sin. Right to the nation. And sin bring other people. Other people. At this time. Obviously going on. You know? So in this time, I am not the black world nation of people, or the world, poor and have not. The United States serve residency, it's in the full other security, rights to themselves, and a sovereign nation and principle of God and goddess of the world. When we go, I will find people before we come to slavery. We was the mighty God of Zion. About Zion. When you give a text over and say, you also, and this one come take over, but I was right, and I was right, but I am not, this time I was home now, with you, Africa, you are good, and you are standard, and you will find the different good place. So anytime, if we are forced to make anything go wrong more on the front, you know, this time I will go for more, I can, and that's the idea to move on, my Lord, I know my Lord. Holy Emmanuel,
Days, know, and give thanks, you know. And we give thanks also, you know, for these hours, you know, rejoicing, you know, and glorious hours, you know, of celebration, you know, celebrating the hours, you know, of the King of Kings to be sure, you know, when he gives the year 1960 and 6, you know, 24th day of April, you know, and the God is divided the world, you know, and the same people in Ethiopia, the same people in Ethiopia, the same people come down here and come see, and we have blood brothers in Selassie. And there are birds of land in Ethiopia right now to come over here, you know. So we give thanks at this hour in the fire.
to the life giver and keeper of life, and give thanks for such joy and happiness and spirit and understanding. We give thanks to the life giver in all our doings. We give thanks to the life giver in all our sayings. Father and Mother of creation is to be exalted. And the Mawe Haile Selassie to be praised. We're thankful for such a foundation, even observed, of this Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, Church of True Divine Salvation. And we glorify and give more thanks and thanks again to our worthy founder and leader and our president, our God and King in flesh, the Right Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. We give thanks for such an establishment, such a foundation of right, established to bring man and woman again forward to their rightful position in creation. We give thanks, Marcus Messiah Garvey, for such the mighty prophet, the great Elijah, that went before the great and dreadful day of coming of the Lord. Families, with joy and happiness that I come before you today in great glee of celebration. And this is a celebration, I must say, not necessarily institutionalized within the Congress of the EABIC, and definitely not anything even thought about in Rastafari. Now, what is interesting, today at the recording and the premiering of this presentation here is the 1st of January 2025. And the 1st of January within itself, I think everyone knows, is New Year's Day. And of course, within the whole scope of consciousness, the 1st of January is not necessarily a day that woken people, not woke people though, awoken people, people that would have woken up, not confusing these words at all. But you know what I'm talking about, conscious people. Yeah, people that are aware, the 1st of January, understanding the people that calendar, the Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar, that whole calendar system, the people that it's related to, that's Rome and old Europe. So we consider that, well, listen, man, they have more ancient calendars than that. Like, for example, you have the Ethiopian calendar that is used today, which is the 11th of September. Sometimes it falls on the 12th of September, depending on if it's a leap year. And then you have ones that will tell you, well, the new year really begins in spring. So some people clock the 1st of March as the new year because of some other ancient calendar. Even the winter solstice that just passed, that's a new year in a whole different realms again. The Garifuna people, that's the beginning of their new year. That's not a winter solstice at all. That's a resurrection solstice. So the concept of the new year is really the concept of a new beginning, new life in the southern hemisphere. That so-called winter solstice is the beginning of spring. It's winter in the northern hemisphere. So you got to comprehend the whole vibration, or summer, I should say. When it's winter in the north, it's summer, pardon me, in the south. In fact, That's the other point. When you have the equinox, now it's the equinox, that brings autumn or fall in the northern hemisphere, that very same equinox will be bringing spring and new flowers and life in the southern hemisphere. That's what happens in September. So again, you have to understand that whole balance of life itself. So all of that is very important when you look at the beginning of a new cycle, the beginning of a new year. Now, for me personally, the 2nd of January, 10:23 a.m. is my Earth moment. Earth Day, Earth Strong, people call it birthday. So even the first, second, third, I engulf all of that. 7 days strong going through. But the point is, so to me, that's my solar return, me personally. I mean, that cannot go for everyone, but for me, that is a new year for sure. So when they say Happy New Year, oh, give thanks. Give thanks. And of course, Isaac already means happy, laughter and joy, happy, the God of the river Nile. So everything is in sync personally when it comes to me. But the truth is, it's not a selfish thing. But in reality now, this time of the year, of the solar cycle, is when the sun is actually closest to the earth. This period is really the second, third, fourth. It's what is called the parahelion, peaks on the third, the second, third, fourth. But the first, you could also add all of that, it's getting there, the parahelion, the prairie lion, when the sun is closest to the earth. So there's a certain level of energy that is being emitted. And at this time, we are talking about solar maximum. Just yesterday, almost all of Puerto Rico had a blackout, and it's of course those who follow us on different networks, that we were speaking of the whole aspect of the solar flares, and we were given the history of many different solar maximum 11-year sunspot cycles where they would have had total blackout in different key cities of the world. So I'm just highlighting that, and of course the close proximity of the sun. And just yesterday, Puerto Rico would have felt, well, according to the news at the time, they were not sure why all the current just went out in Puerto Rico. But again, understanding that in October, it was already declared that we are at solar maximum. And of course, connecting that to the whole mechanism of the 11-year sunspot cycle, what we already understood from a very long time as ancient people. That is what is called the feathered snake. And again, scientifically, this sort of activity would have caused similar effects like what was seen yesterday in other places like Quebec in Canada in the 1990s. This is something that we highlighted, and many other major cities in the 80s, etc. So again, the sun is actually at its closest point to the earth, really, in the whole orbit of the earth around the sun as well. But outside of all of that beautiful science, there is something special about the 1st of January. Maybe not necessarily to Rastafari as a whole, but definitely to members of the EABIC. Now, we all know in 1966, I'm talking about the 21st day of April, Emperor Haile Selassie I would have visited Jamaica. And of course, it was a 3-day visit. For those who may be just getting this information for the first time, there are always new people coming in, give thanks very, very much. And when I say new people, not just to our atmosphere here, but just coming in, just literally coming in, just literally waking up. In fact, you may have been a part of the waking up procedure for them. You know, they would have heard your voice somewhere and say, hey, somebody waking me up, let me go and listen some more. So we give thanks for those who may be just coming in. So as I was saying, in 1966, on the 21st day of April, our father, Emperor Haile Selassie I, paid an official visit, really, to the island of Jamaica. And of course, within that whole visit, he also visited other places. And even within that period of time, when you really understand history, 1960s in general, especially 63, 64, the time of the death of John F. Kennedy, 67 and 68, a lot of international movements were being made by our father, Emperor Haile Selassie I. As Rastafari in general, we celebrate the 21st of April. As Bobo Shanti, we celebrate it as Abraham meet Melchizedek. Now, interestingly, you know, my brethren and sisters, it is the 22nd day of April that the emperor actually met the delegation of Rastafari, which was 31 Rastafari leaders and you know, executives, and they all received 31 gold medals from our father Haile Selassie I. And the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards was amongst the 31, the first to be presented to the Emperor Haile Selassie I. And, you know, of course, we can go into the depths of the mystics and the whole development thereof, but I want to get to the main point first, and we could even return to that if the Spirit says. But on that day, that's the day we celebrate. We celebrate the 21st. As I said, the 22nd is really when they met in King's house. But the energy here is that the 21st of April is when the king came into Jamaica. Now, Bobo Shanti has within their theology that Haile Selassie first paid a special visit to the Bobo Shanti camp after 1966, a visit that many ones know nothing about. This was not televised, you know, this was not announced, you know, no one really saw this. I mean, well, maybe a few, but no great mass of people can speak of this. Remember when the king came in 66, never before, ever has any leader come to Jamaica and received such an ovation, such a welcome. In fact, I don't think any leader has ever gone anywhere at any time since television cameras have been filming and radio and this modern time. I don't think anything like that has ever happened anywhere. The emperor returning to Ethiopia has never even met such a welcome like he got when he landed in Jamaica. The Queen of England was in Jamaica the month before. I don't think her welcome was even nearly close to that of the welcome that our God and King received, Haile Selassie I. So that was a big thing. The king went and he spoke at the parliament, and this was a big thing. So Haile Selassie paid a special visit to the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edward camp. When was this? And now I personally, this is me speaking here, precisely, I was not there. And this is a little bit of interesting history now, because you must understand what I know is what I would have learned from the elders that would have walked with the Black Christ, or those who would have learned from the same elders. That's where our tradition is right now, history. I want you to get me good, because time moves on, and time is moving on. You understand? So even the account of this visitation that I will give you in a moment, those who gave it to me, they're not even here in flesh anymore. Well, some of them, but some are even still here. But as I said, time moves on, and time is moving on. So this is my position. I wasn't there. I never sat with the Black Christ, the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, in that historical sense. I got my own accounts, but that ain't for this right now. But on that level, you understand what I'm saying. I never encountered that moment. In fact, 1994, when he made his move from amongst us, 94, I was just, the same time, I was just waking up, saying, hey, man, I got to find God. But the God was rising in I. So the understanding is that in somewhere in the 70s, and I'm purposely saying it like that, because this is not something that is documented as such, to the point that the archives have it, in the sense that time and date and everything. At least when it's spoken to me, elders would say it's either 1970 or 71, sometime in the 70s. So when did we go to Bobo Hill? Because this was not Bobo Hill now. This was at another camp prior to Bobo Shanti Hill. One say, well, I think it's 72 or 71, somewhere 71, 72. It's not 73. Now, you must understand in the family, I'm a journalist, a reporter as such, and a researcher. And from the moment I held on to this order here, that is what I've been doing. That's why I could come and speak things that, as I said, I wasn't there. So this is how it's always expressed. And this is why I know a lot of things need to be rectified and archived. Ministry of Education, it needs to rise. But I want to get to all of that. But just give me a moment. So again, all right. King Emmanuel clearly says, you could hear it on one of these videos, but I had it on an audio cassette for so long, way before the internet, when he spoke of the king visiting him. And King Emmanuel said, and it was in 70, and it was on a Thursday. Now, the word is that it was the first Thursday of the month. Now, if it's 70, and it's the Thursday, and it's the first Thursday of the month, that corresponds to the 1st of January, 1970. That corresponds to what is known as New Year's Day. So that means that in the same way, well, not in the same way, but the same how that the king visited in 66, the king came in 70, according to my understanding of what King Emmanuel said. Elders who are not sure, some say 70, some say they think it's 71. Because we came to Bowie Hill in 72, so you have to be 71 or 70. But King Emmanuel said 70. And it was a Thursday. And the elders say it is the Thursday, the first Thursday of the year. Well, that is the 1st of January, so-called New Year's Day. The Honorable Priest Bob would have given me an account of him and some brethren with the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. Early that morning, in the back of the structure where their camp was at the time, according to the Honorable Priest Bob, it was a structure that had an upstairs and a downstairs. And his words, and he told me this, I could tell you exactly where he was when he was giving me this whole account and everything. So he was cooking a pot. This is Priest Bob telling me about chant and plant. And he said when they were washing up in the morning, King Emmanuel just said to everyone, moments, and went inside. And then after there was a knock on the gate. And the person that opened the gate said, who is this white man here at the gate? Now, according to the account, the emperor, this is the emperor now, you know, had on a suit of all white, similar to the white suit that he would have worn when he went to France or Belgium or one of those places when he was Rastafari, when he went on that European tour. You know, that white, beautiful garment with the hat, everything. That is how it was given to me. I got this account from different ones. You have elders like Priest Rollo, who would have moved on. Elders like Priest Harris, who would have moved on. Even Mama Empress Lily, who is here with us, who has a good understanding of that time as well. And she would have spoken of that as well on an interview that I would have done with her. And it is said now, the Honorable Priest Bob, returning to his specific account, he's saying that when he went to see who was at the gate, the same time, the Honorable King Emmanuel was coming down the stairs and buttoning the last set of buttons on his black robe, the same time. And when the brethren at the gate, whoever it was, that says that's another thing. Ones gave a different account of who really was at the gate. But whoever it was said, who is this white man? The Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards specifically said, that is our father. And there was an encounter, a reasoning really, with both the priest and the king in an area away from the full congregation. There was a lot of reasoning at the time amongst brethren and the sisters that were there like, wow, what's really happening here? But the reasoning between the king and the priest wasn't too long. And then afterwards, the creed was said and the anthem, the very same anthem we heard a moment ago, went through. And those who were there, those who witnessed the whole session said the only thing that they heard or the emperor would have said to the congregation is Abba Sabbath, Abba Sabbath, Abba Sabbath. This is a real interesting, to say the least, event. They say that the emperor came in a taxi. They say, spooky thing like if he fly out to the sky, or if, came on some dove or nothing like that. The emperor came in a taxi coming through the airport. Now you may say, come on, man, you expect anybody to believe that? Hold on. in 1982, a guru said that Haile Selassie called for him, and he met Haile Selassie the first. This is in England. And everyone here, maybe not everyone, but most of you know that account. And in his book, The Wings of Love, Guru, what's his name there? Guru Raj, gives the account of when he met Haile Selassie the first. And when he gave Haile Selassie the first the breathing technique, and cakes and pastries were offered, and all these different things that he said. Now, I know people personally who from them times denied that account. I mean, if you don't have to, hey, listen, man, I'm not here to make nobody believe nothing or force nothing down anyone's throat. But I know ones who personally deny that account of Haile Selassie meeting King Emmanuel in the 70s. But when they heard the guru say that he met Haile Selassie in 1982, not in no forest, not behind no waterfall, in England, he drove up to the place where he was. Scotland Yard was protecting him. Enough man believe that, He was the guest of Queen Mary. Who was that? Which Queen Mary? This is, hold on, take it easy with me. You just take it easy with me. But you believe that. I'm not saying that's not true. But you believe that. I was speaking to my family just previous evening as we were watching the fireworks. Yeah, giving thanks for the celebration. And I was just explaining to them, but hey, at a Savior's Day for the nation of Islam, Minister Farrakhan was speaking of his, his adventures. I think this was in the 80s, during the time of Ronald Reagan. I don't know if you ever had a moment to hear, the things he would have gone through, but it's some interesting stuff. But anyway, I'm sure you may know there was a time, those of you who are, especially from them times, and you've been in the movement and the struggle for a while, there was a time when the brother was wanted. And because there was a travel ban, I think, to Libya and Iran or Iraq or wherever it was. And he went there and met with the high officials, and Saddam Hussein and his people, and some serious stuff. And of course, the Nation of Islam and Minister Farrakhan is very close with Gaddafi. So there was a lot of things happening, and bombs were dropping too. And he and of course his security and maybe a few members of his family would have gotten in and out of certain places, I guess, in the nick of time. But anyway, only he can really tell his story, and I'm not here really to tell his story. But I'm just showing you now. He would have spoken of sneaking back into the United States, like undercover, not in a ship, I'm not selling his business. I'm telling you what he would have told hundreds of thousands of people, I think, whatever thousands of people in a stadium for a Savior's Day. I think it's 2013 or somewhere in that arena. and I know he would have repeated this story several occasions, maybe in different lengths. So he said that he bought a ticket under a pseudo name, like a fake name. He and some other brethren with him, I don't know what they did, and he had on a disguise. Can you imagine that? Farrakhan. I'm telling you I mean, Farrakhan is not Haile Selassie, don't get me wrong. But at that time, the spotlight was looking for him, and he easily got back into the US and even got back to his home, and whatever history has to say for the rest of that, it's history, and he is who he is today. And again, that's history. But I'm just trying to show you that we talking about Haile Selassie returning and sitting with the Black Christ once again. It's not no spooky business. You believe or you disbelieve or agree or disagree. That's up to you, man. We can still have tea. I ain't vexed with you for that. I didn't come to debate nobody at all about that, For sure. You better believe it. You understand? But I'm just showing you the reality of it. It's not no spooky Shazam, abracadabra, and alakazam. No. Reality. You know who Haile Selassie is? This is another thing, Number one, first of all, I mean, ones like to say, oh, hey, listen, you want to test the power of God? They're talking about when Moses bust the sea open and them kind of things. You're going to test the power of God. Okay. What I'm talking about is a simple thing. Simple. Especially if you understand the samurai ninjutsu mentality of a man like Kadamawi Haile Selassie. Now, you may not want to admit that the King of Kings have any dealing with the Honorable King Emmanuel. I know that. I know you may not be into that. Listen, you want to make me believe that Selassie, I go check Emmanuel again. Hey, listen. As I said, we're not here to debate that right now. We kind of beyond that. Believe me, this is about nation building. I'm just bringing to the faithful a better understanding of the mystics of time and space, and understanding, because amongst I and I as Boba Shanti, no one really home in on this day to say, well, which day this really was. Since 1966, the 21st day of April is such a big celebration. Well, the day that he come back again should be a big celebration too. What say you? That's really what I'm talking about. I didn't bring this to provoke anyone. I actually brought it to provoke some thought as it relates to our celebration moving forward into the future, because this is why he said, greater works than me shall ye do. So things were left for us to fill in some serious gaps. I think this is basically one of them. That's why I believe the 27th day of September also is a key day to celebrate, not just because it's Maskel. And this is for Rastafari in general, not because it's Maskel, but it is the day when Tafari took the title Rastafari. And if we are Rastafari family, well, the 27th day of September is a day where we should remember, a day we should actually celebrate in joy and glee. And even Maskel, the commemoration of the finding of the true cross of Christ, because that's what it is. We have found the true cross of Christ. You check it, because the cross of Christ is not just the tree that he was hung on as such, or crucified on. It's a deep symbolism. The cross of Christ is actually Christ as well. In the next level, we've done some programs as it relates to that whole concept there. So again, so to those who actually, comprehend that our Father didn't come to give us no fairy tale, and we have witness amongst us as elders, they may not be Nobel Prize laureates, and they may not be on the King's list of honorees, but them is elders that were right there and saw it for themselves, elders that opened the gate. The king come in a taxi. A Rasta man drive the taxi as well. You see who the king look for? You may not understand. You may try to say, so what you trying to tell me, Ras? The king come to a plane and an airport. I just explained to you, a wanted man that the whole world watching. This is before the Million Man March, but at the same time, this is after he was back in Jesse Jackson and all of that. So he was well known. He already started to build back the Nation of Islam, etc. Farrakhan, I talking about, the minister Farrakhan, pardon me. Yeah. And at the same time, they're looking for him. And he just sneaking cool and calm. Now, I mean, I know that can go all sorts of different ways because many people have different ideas. Many people may feel, oh, brother, that's a setup. Setup or not. I could give you my own story too, but I wouldn't even go there with you. The point is we're dealing with the King of Kings. And if the king feel that he want to leave Ethiopia for 3, 4, 5 hours, however long it takes, for a moment, and no one understand where he went and when he returned, and he visit King Emmanuel for a little half an hour or 45 minutes or whatever it was, and then move again. You just don't understand. You don't comprehend which plane he take. I can't give you all the details. But we know our God ain't going to lie to us. And we have our witnesses that were there. And I'm just here. I'm going to use the term. I am a believer. You don't have to try to convince me at all. For me, tell me, hey, Selassie come back in the 1970s and visit the king. Yeah, what? Real. Never doubted it for a second. But because you don't know how it is, it's the academia within the blood. That's why we always come forward and bring it down to a scientific level. And that is why I'm showing those who understand the reality that is something that is simple, nothing spooky, no alakazam, no come out of the wind. The yogi said that the king called him and said, yeah, come and visit me. Maybe it's not the king himself gave him the call, but he got the call that the emperor of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie, would like to see you. This is 1982. All of this time, the Derg run in Ethiopia, and Haile Selassie disappeared. And he gonna meet the king in England, give you the address of the place where he was, and he was the guest of the queen. And after that, the emperor went and showed him, yeah, man, this is my bedroom palace and everything. Yeah. And then when he went back to India, the king called him now and tell him, yeah, man, everything working good. The breathing techniques are doing fine. What you telling me? And many of us believe that. We believe that. Now watch that whole lengthy process there. And we're dealing with the master ninjutsu, samurai, covert. You can't play with Haile Selassie, man. You see how he disappear on them? Talking about Haile Selassie's gone missing and then change it within a moment and make up all sorts of things saying he died, some prostate exam. And the doctor that they claim that was responsible for all of this came out and said, I don't even know what they're talking about. That's official news, you understand? So, you see, family, this is why, as I said, just bringing that as a highlight not to, just as a highlight. So we understand again, you see, this is a serious thing because the reality of life, and this is really the important message for the moment. The reality of life is this. I know we're all here. We're all living. I mean, even what I just spoke about a moment ago, nice information and yeah, maybe comforting to some and troubling to others. Okay, fair enough. All of that is good. But see, those of us that are Rastafari, those of us that are of the order of the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, we got to be very serious about this. Everyone knows in my book, I think that we are playing around. You understand? I can speak for myself and I can speak for us all. We are playing around. Our mission is supposed to be freedom, redemption, international repatriation, international. Now, this thing is much deeper, much deeper than many of us really consider or think about. Because, the reality is that this is why the theology is important. I want you to listen to me. Not going to be long. This is why the theology is important. First of all, the understanding of God. Now, when we were coming into this faith, that was like a must. You gotta know who the real God is. Now, we live in a time where even in the conscious realms, that's not that important, but we just need to kind of work together. I feel you sometimes with that. But we know the job, we can work together, but the job is not going to get done unless it's led by the right creative force, which is the right God. I'm telling you straight. This ain't religion. This ain't belief. This ain't who right and who wrong. This is just reality. That there is a creative force. There is an agenda in the universe, Rastafari. You cannot stop it. This has nothing to do with what you believe or what you don't believe. It's just there. It will manifest. The wicked won't reign forever. Santa Claus will not forever be coming to town. It's impossible. Yeah, man, people like me must live to see the day when he and his reindeer them crash out of the sky like those jets that crash. A few days ago, you see one of them crash on Christmas Day. Yeah. And Santa fraud can only crash when a specific economy crash. When a specific idea and a specific culture break up and mash up. The same culture economy that has its foot on our neck. The same economy we are trying to thrive in so that we can better ourselves. You got to understand this. It's real. So it's not religion. You see the truth. Reality. The true concept of life. The true rituals. Because everything and everyone operates on rituals. Even if it's snoring when you're sleeping, that's your ritual. So every ritual or everyone does rituals. So those who are up to the true ritual, the true concept, the true going out and true coming in, somehow they take that and say, yeah, that's a religion too. So you get caught in that religious block. No, it's just the truth. It's just understanding the heavenly cosmos coming to the terrestrial plane. That's why the ancient astronomers could have already mapped out the prophecies that you read in your Bible that were taken from the walls of the ancient temples, because they understood the movement of the sun, moon, stars, planets. And we see it manifest in flesh now before us. Haile Selassie the first. That's really what it is. That's what it is. And of course, when I say that, I mean it's a broader picture, obviously. Because you see, royal family, we live in a very special moment in history. I mean, the coming of the Most High. And as I say all the time, all animals, unless they're domesticated, all animals follow the inner instinct that they have been created with, meaning they eat what they're supposed to eat. They don't go outside of that. They mate when they're supposed to mate. They don't go outside of that. They wake up when they're supposed to wake up and hibernate and do everything as a rhythm. They don't even have to teach some of them, their offspring, how to do it. In fact, some of them, when they lay their eggs, like the reptiles, some reptiles, they leave that, and that has to fend for itself. But somehow, without a teacher, it knows what to do. It's not every bird is taught to make its nest. Some birds are not taught a thing, but they just know what to do. It's the human being, people. These are the ones that have gone astray. These are the ones that forget. You see, like today's New Year's Day, enough people drunk. Can't wake up this morning. Still in bed snoring away. But as I said, the birds, I don't think there is any bird that's sleeping when the sun is coming up. Any bird, not even the night birds, not even the owls and the whatever flies at night. Even the bats, I think the bats are awake when the sun is coming up. But people, yeah, you wake up early to catch the bus even before the sun so you can go on the job, but on your day off, oh, nobody trouble me. And you lock off your alarm and you sleep until 9, 10 o'clock. Hey, that's your privilege, aren't you? Because you're the intelligent animal. You're the God, really. This is a deep thing, deep thing. Yeah, but it cannot be that. There's a certain discipline. That's just on a simple level. But there's a certain discipline that the human being is supposed to have. And that is why that you have a order, a specific order, the priesthood order, the priesthood characteristic, which is really the characteristic of the man and the woman. So this is why now, in the same way that the bird's supposed to eat what it eats, well, not just the bird, they have so many different types of birds. You check it. They have birds that don't eat flesh, and they have birds that eat only flesh. They have birds that eat worms. All birds don't eat worms, Some birds just eat the berries and maybe a few insects and different characteristics. But they know what to do. They know when to do it and how to do it. Mankind is supposed to have an order, a specific order that they live by. Most people are not on that. Now, this is outside of the belief now. This is not just what you believe. Because one person could tell you, well, you believe what you believe and I believe with what I believe. Yeah, but what you believe has no order. There must be an order of what you eat and what you don't eat. There must be an order of what you wear and what you don't wear. Where you go and where you don't go. And when you go. Yeah. And how you rise and how you rest. This may sound strange to people, but how you bathe and how you everything. I mean, you're the God. You're not an animal as such. Although they categorize you as the intelligent animal, I don't know what kind of insult is that really, you know? When some of these animals, to me, appear more intelligent than people. But the point is, like all that you see in the wild, mankind is to have an order that is to guide them in their going out and coming in. Straight up. And that is why you have Melchizedek, the high priest. He is the one that comes with the order. Now, the order is a very simple order, but yet a complex order. For life is simple, but life is complex. And it's an order that you grow into, even if you are born into it. And that's the best way to grow into it, to be born into it in a kingdom established under the principles of Melchizedek, under the principles of the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. And this is what I am saying here, royal family. When I say that we are not as serious as we should be at this moment, I'm not throwing any corn anywhere. I am looking in the mirror as I speak, literally too. But at the same time, I'm speaking of us all, obviously. As I would have said before, and this is not about chastising us, as I would have said before, and I want to listen to me carefully. This is why we have the evolution mindset course. That's really a course that deals with business. That's why you see us speak about the whole aspect of business, the mindset of being entrepreneurs and business-minded and business-like. Because we need to set massive goal. Massive goal. My personal goal, not targets. I mean, I have millions of targets, but there's a goal. My personal goal is so big that if I was to achieve 1% of that goal, I'm telling you, the world would believe that I mean, the shining kingdom of Zion, heaven, is on earth. The Honorable King Emmanuel says that he wants a tabernacle in all states of Africa. Please listen, my family. He wants a tabernacle in all states of Africa. Africa has 50 plus states, 50, whatever it is now, 2, 3, 4. And he wants a tabernacle in all states of Africa. Good. Now, as even in Antigua, we are building. And what I would have learned in that process with the presence of some of the elders and even young elders to ones that have seen the process, even in building the tabernacle, you have ones that are very adamant that you cannot have a tabernacle without a kitchen. One's very adamant about that. You cannot have a tabernacle without a kitchen. And then there are those who will say, no, no, well, yes, you're right. But you first need a guardhouse. I want you to listen to me good. You can't put up a tabernacle without a guardhouse. Kitchen is good, but man need to eat. Yes, but when people come, guard you need for visitors. Then hold on. But wait, how you gonna put up a guardhouse and we don't deal with the fence properly? Fence. Yeah, we have to fence the compound, even if it's a tabernacle outside the fence. But this kitchen and guardhouse thing, but we need houses too. Okay, now what that sound like to you? That's a whole camp setting. I would like to use the term a campus because it's a university that is being established. Remember our father, the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, have brought us the blueprint. One would say the black print of what the campus should be. That is why the elders that remember what the father established can tell you, hey, you need guardhouse, you need this house, you need kitchen, you need accommodations for visitors, specific accommodations for empresses, and then you go on into something else. You need an office. Oh, that's another thing. Office. They have ones that are very, very on the ambassador level. We need an office here. You can't have no church running without an office. So what really happening here, far right? We're dealing with a kingdom. We're dealing with an empire. And let me show you. Those who understand the structure of Bobo Shanti Hill, that we all marvel. You must understand, when we start to rebuild, we got to do it on a higher level than even that. This is different, family. My goal, listen good, family, please. My goal is to see that very same vision of our Father, of a tabernacle in every state of Africa, but on a high industrial, spiritual level. Meaning that we need an international airport on every campus ground. Huh? But how you gonna fit? And what do you mean how you're gonna fit? All right, bam. No, it's not even about fitting. The fact that you say an international airport, not an airstrip, not a place to land a plane, not a helipad, an international airport. So that means, okay, hold on. Exactly what you're thinking about. I'm thinking about not just acres, square mileage of land. So if it's 12 square miles, 50 square miles, some of these little islands around here are 47 square miles and 62 square miles, and it's a whole nation of people. And in these nations of Africa, 12 square miles, just think about it. You can buy it. I mean, the Chinese are buying it. The Koreans and the Russians spending money and buying not just acres and hectares, but square mileage of land, islands, and they're buying it. Oh, well, they have the money. Well, I mean, my brother, This is where I'm getting to. So what's wrong with us? We did a program previous night on the tiger's nest. Those of you who are on the tiger's nest trade. And we were talking about the Congo filing a lawsuit against the tech giant Apple as it relates to Apple, utilizing minerals from Congo that were illegally mined and assisting in funding the different tribal war groups that are in the Congo and Rwanda and these places. Apple, $1 trillion company, I think is the top company in the world. You understand? And one of the brothers was speaking about, one of the brothers in Goma, one of the reporters who was once a child soldier himself, he was speaking about the whole aspect of, every week at least 80 to 90 women are raped in Goma alone, not in the Congo, just in Goma alone. And that is all due to the whole, rape. And when I say rape now, of the country, rape and exploitation of the land and the minerals that have been happening from the death of Patrice Lumumba till now. And interestingly, now the government is trying to sue it, basically, that's what it's really called, the Apple company. But I'm just trying to show you that, and to go into the depths of it, that was a whole program, one of our Tiger's Nest program, to bring a psychological understanding of how the mismanagement, and not mismanagement, that's a nice way of saying it, the exploitation of the African people and our minerals and our tin and copper and cobalt and the whole works, the iron ore, whatever it is that's there, diamond, gold, in the Congo. And that's just the Congo alone we're speaking of. We're not even speaking of other places in Africa. We're just speaking of the Congo. And because of that wicked exploitation, you would have created all of these different militias as such that is even preying on their own people, that would have resulted in 80 women getting raped every week in a specific area. That's just a stats, a part of the statistics for you. I guess the stats in other cities or towns in Congo may be 100 a week or 50 a week, and that's just rape. That's not even killing. That's not even kidnapping. And all of these things, to fuel the gangs. Many of the gangs literally own mines. There's a lot of things to get into, but the point is, it's because of the exploitation of these $1 trillion companies. With the amount of us that say we believe in this stuff here, and believe in Selassie and believe in Emmanuel, Marcus and all of that stuff. Now, I'm not saying we pool our resources together like that. Our resources together ain't going to come to no $1 trillion nothing. But we need to pool our resources together. Trust me, we can make them $1 trillion, We can make them $1 trillion there. But some of us, we're afraid to even talk about that. That conversation don't even interest us. We waiting on somebody to bust out of the sky, or Queen Elizabeth to bring us ships. Up to now, Up to now, we still singing, "Come down, Elizabeth, come down." Imagine that. Come on, man. If up to now, you don't know how long she done dead, man. Come on, man. You're still waiting on her? Come on, man. That's how we think. We have that mentality. We have that mentality, real. We can rise our own kingdom. I don't mean by just talking, like if I hear talking, I know it's a long program today. Yeah, but it's not just talking, It's long, but this is not a day program. This is a real agenda I'm trying to even spark your mind to, a real agenda. This is something we can't fiddle with for too long. You know? We are the saviors, the Rastafari. This is no spookism. Haile Selassie is the almighty I. You understand? The Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, his Melchizedek is who bring us the order of life. Whether you follow it, not peace halfway and trying your best, or you don't care, whatever. The world is preparing for full freedom, redemption, and international repatriation. It will happen. I know my mandate. That's why I'm sharing at least some aspects of my goals, because I don't think I'm just scratching the surface. We're thinking big, Rasta, big, big. That's why we have targets to get to the goal. Those who know me, those who are close to me, even here in Antigua, even those who visit here and go and come, you cannot say that I have not shared some very precise agenda for our future moving forward, but it's step by step. This is not a lunatic you're hearing or listening to, man. Things are well thought out in this cranium. I'm sharing the goal, but they're targets to the goal. You have to have targets with figures. Yeah. So we're thinking infrastructure. We're thinking of ministries. We got to set the agenda, but you see, we are arguing over foolishness now, over elder council. Imagine that. I mean, listen, this is something else. This is something else. I mean, this is not about picking any side. Everybody know where I stand. It's not no side thing. But I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, man, I would have told certain elders that I'm going to call no name because I don't want the thing to go too far. I mean, not nothing. Yeah, I mean, straight to their face. I said, this is foolishness. What you're telling, I mean, it's dumb. It is dumb. A council of elders, whether the Black Christ establish it or not, the man established that we will do greater works than him. We sing this hymn every Sabbath. Improve the day the Lord has blessed. He blessed the day, you improve on it. I agree, you don't just jump up and change things. Oh, I totally agree with that. Believe me. But to me, there's an ignorance towards the concept of the establishment of a council of elders. That's an African thing. Even if for one reason you may say, well, King Emmanuel didn't establish that, I don't get a sense personally of what you would call it, a civilized discussion to say, well, let's talk about this properly. It's just a heap of burning fire. Remember, I'm telling you, I'm talking about who I face to face, but I just not bringing that level to this discussion. So that's where we are. And I'm only saying it because it's highlighted on the social. So let me just say a word or two. You understand? I mean, we would have hosted the different bodies, even from the time of the upliftment committee, the elder council right here in the Tigers Temple. And with joy, see, I'm very happy to see the movements going forward. So when you try to tell me, I'm establishing the Ministry of Education, somebody gonna try to tell me Emmanuel never set up that. This ain't no time to play. This is not time to play. You got to remember the story of the Piper. You know that story? Yeah, you may say it ain't a cartoon thing. You better listen good. This is when they had rats running over the city. Can't remember the name of the city. And they called this fella that used to play a pipe. and say, yeah, man, see if you can make the rats them dance out of here. Or he saw the problem and he told them, hey, I can make the rats get out of here. You just have to pay me this amount of money. And he played the pipe and got the rats out of the city. And when he came back for his money, the people said, we ain't got no money for you. Thanks for getting rid of the rats. Get out. And they threw him out and they locked the gate. And he started to play again. And when he played, the children of the city got up and they broke down the gates and they followed him and he played the pipe and he led them to this beautiful city with all the things they love, you know, candy and chocolate and marshmallow and all the stuff that children love. And they played on the swings and on the slides and all of that. And the pipe piper would have played for them. Yeah. This is the pipe piper time. You understand? Meaning that we can't be wasting time with no old time scuffling and conversation when we have young children that are coming for this order here. This is why young people today are so violent, you know. Some of that is our fault. Some of that is our fault because we don't have nothing available for the generations coming after us, even our own children. Nothing available for their intellectual minds, not what they learn in school. In fact, that's the problem too. But they were born spiritually intelligent. They were born ready for the battle. Some of them just drop off of the field of Ottawa and bam, come again. You don't see they come with this spear in the hand. Yes, yes, we're the enemy, we're the enemy. But you know, you need to teach them, well, we won that war already. You know, you need a curriculum to teach them that we won that war already. And they came again in 35 and we won that war as well. But this is the war we're fighting now. And bring them up and bring them up and bring them up. And bring them up in a kingdom where they learn how to dance, where they learn how to sing, where they learn their true culture, where they learn how to cook, where they learn how to feast, where they learn how to love, where they learn how to marriage, where they learn how to engage with their sons and daughters and all of that stuff. Because we have a culture and a kingdom, we have a society, we have a philosophy, we have an international airport. You cannot have an international airport unless you have some serious level of commerce, industry, business taking place. You have a government running. So you need ministries of health. You need ministries of economy, the Ministry of Economy. Or whatever you call it, the financial ministry. You need, of course, Ministry of Education. That's another thing. In fact, to me, that's the first thing. Reparation means to repair the nation. And to repair the nation, of course, education is key. Now, to me, that's one of the things you definitely do not need any compensation for. Yes, the artifacts they would have stolen, the arts and facts, we would love to get those back, I agree. But we don't need the enemy to build us a university or some college or some school of this and hospital, all of these things you hear, or give us scholarship to go here, there, and all of that stuff. Because you see, these institutions that they want to establish and to manage and facilitate and give us scholarship as reparation to come to. These are the same institutions that they utilize to make us into bigger slaves. Everyone knows that. You know, one university was given some level of reparation to some part of the Caribbean. I can't even remember the story now. Was it Oxford? I can't remember, but they wanted to build, as reparation, they wanted to build a clinic or some research university or college, a research college, I think it was, to go into the cause, to do more research on the non-communicable diseases, you know, to know the origin of them. And the nature of them, etc., and where they came from. So I guess that's the different diseases that from your diabetes, whatever. But the point I'm making is that we know the origin of this stuff. It's the same food you gave us to eat coming out of slavery. And we have refused to drop that stuff. We still eat the belly of the hog. We still eat the hog, you understand, and the chitlins and all of that stuff. We're still into your culture. We still celebrate Santa Fraud. We still have the Christmas tree in our house, hot as fire here, talking about let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Yeah, we know the origin of it. You building the clinic, or not a clinic, but a college. It's a college, actually. I guess it has a clinic in it because it's a medical college, I think they were building to do more research on these diseases here, especially in our community. Imagine that. Imagine that. That's our reparation, eh? I'm telling you. So this is why we can create our own curriculum, our own syllabus. Interesting words to curriculum and syllabus, but you know what I'm talking about. We can create again our own agenda. This is the age of online. And I'm already doing it, you know. In fact, soon I'm going to announce this stuff. This is the age of online. I see people arguing about that's another thing now. You know, yeah. Parliament online and all of this kind of thing. Which, to be honest, in this day and age, this is me personally. In this day and age, I don't have no problem with that. In this day and age, and I'm going to speak it straight here as to Bobo Shanti now. I know the world is listening, but this is a Bobo Shanti conversation for the most part. We ain't got no power right now to say that we gathering nowhere together and no 33 man and this one woman and however the parliament set up. But we all got Google, Zoom, and all of that stuff. And in our resurrection with a proper agenda, I don't see nothing wrong with a heart of love and a heart of unity and sincere, trust in this work that we are doing, that we can have online executives, online boards, online cabinets, and online parliament. We can even do that in the sense with an agenda of how long we intend that to last and say, okay, tell you what, we don't intend to do this for more than 5 years, or 3 years, because at the third year, the parliament, the senators, the executives, we're supposed to already set up our headquarters in Ghana, or we set up a campus in Senegal. And of course, remember, 7 brethren and 7 sisters going to be moving over by this time. This is what you call agenda. You set up an agenda, whatever it is. And we're not just sitting down and getting old, and we have an agenda for the generation to come. Generations to come. Generations that are here. Young little children going to school with their little backpack on their back and their lunch bag in their hand and catching the school bus. This is for them, you know. These are the important people. These are who the piper comes to play for. And he will take them away and carry them to the place that they love and the place that has all the goodies. Because an ungrateful generation who got the light of the teachings and all the rats were taken out of, you know, their life, refused to pay the piper what is due the piper. So the piper have to take away their children. So I'm telling you, this is for the children. We got to build the kingdom. That's the kingdom of our Father. This ain't no spookism now. So those amongst us who are wise enough to know that this work is on our shoulder, although it is a state of emergency and we are very comfortable in the state of emergency, but it's not to rush now because you hear me saying this. But those of us who are thinking and in the lab, we will be bringing to the table very soon action plans, aspects also of the full agenda going forward. There are many talented ones amongst us with great ideas and great visions. And that is why there is a need for ones to put these ideas in a black and white format with understanding and bring it to the front line, and we gather together to understand where we're going forward in the future. Now, as I said, a Ministry of Education is key on whatever level it begins at as we continue to rise. That's how you set an agenda. You must know that, listen, in the next 2 years, we're supposed to come out of this level. We may not start high. The plane don't start flying in the sky. The plane start on the runway. You take your time and go down, and then it turn around, and then it speed up, and then it up and it go higher and higher and higher and higher until it reach up there. But that's an agenda. What button you press, when you pull the lever, and all of that is an agenda. It's step by step by step by step. So that is what we need to do, but we need a goal. What's the goal? Where the plane going? That's the goal. But you need an agenda, how you rise, how you take off, how you accelerate, how you level off, and how you land. All of that is a part of the plan, all a part of the agenda. So we need that goal. So again, my goal is the same goal of our Father, to see a tabernacle in every state of Africa. But a tabernacle cannot just be a wooden structure or whatever structure standing in a field that people come to every Saturday and sit down and have a service, and then after they have lunch and some of them go home and a few of them stay back and struggle on with the next service. No, that's not what he's talking about. It's an empire that we're building here. That's why I said square mileage of land. Just like how he taught us, a gated community. Yes, with infrastructure, road infrastructure. I'm talking about almost a little island inside of a continent. I mean, area with rivers and lakes and every state of Africa. But how are you going to do that? What do you mean, how are we going to do that? We're diplomats. We're diplomats, plus we're wealthy. That's how we do that. What are you talking about? Were you afraid of yourself? We're diplomats and we are wealthy. But you see, we think small. We think so small. We're even afraid to invest money in our own self, in our own knowledge, in our own experience. We prefer to spend our time staying mediocre, staying in the ghetto realms. We even take Rastafari and bring it to a kind of ghetto level. I'm telling you, when we are the royal of the royals, real exquisite, that's us. We live luxurious lifestyles. So they hear what the man say, a tabernacle in every state of Africa. It's not no zinc fence business he talking about. You know? So when you can build one gated community, whether it's Ghana, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, where you have 7 square miles to play with, and you establish pristine forestry and parks and proper, we're not using the term hospital now, but medical centers and rejuvenation centers, etc., and natural clinics, where you have road infrastructure for vehicle I'm talking about. You understand? International airport. You understand? When you have your cultural centers, your theater, and of course your tabernacle, your university, and your several schools. It doesn't have to be one school because you have a whole 7 square miles to handle. You have 21 square mileage to handle in Botswana. You have 40 square miles that they gave you or you bought for yourself because you can afford it in Zaire or wherever it is. And every place a bit different than the other place. I'm serious. Because there's a tabernacle in every state of Africa. So people all over Africa, wherever you are, who need employment, you can employ them because we have business now. Many businesses, whatever the business may be, whatever it may be, because Bobo Shanti, EABIC, established by the mighty Holy Melchizedek, King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, is running all sort of business. We are making, outside of the broom and the mat and the sandals, we are creating, you see, we're talking about high water ships, we making them. You see those cruise ships you see in the harbor, we make them, huh? We making them, especially on the coast of Africa. So our tabernacle in Mozambique, our establishment in Mozambique, we get a coastline. We create luxury yachts. We create luxury jet planes as well. Yeah, that's the level that we are on. We have the best example, man. Haile Selassie the first taught us how to take our nation from nothing to the tops in just 14 years. After Mussolini and these killers flattened the place and then went on to fight war somewhere else. They couldn't even, they had to take care of their own self. The King of Kings didn't have no one to lean upon. And he rebuilt Ethiopia to the point that in 1955, the reporters said that Ethiopia would have reached to its zenith. 1955, just a few years after the war. So we have to have the mindset that the King of Kings gave us. We have to be building a kingdom. Agriculture is a must. Ministry of Agriculture, I mean, you ain't moving without that. But obviously, again, in this musical world, cheers world we're living in, when it comes to the economy, that's another thing. You need wise economic minds. You need people that are motivated, people that can motivate people to understand the importance of us. I'm going to use the term capitalizing, because you got to keep in mind that the capitalistic system is crashing too. So you got to know how to handle these paper dollars and turn it into real wealth. Can't be holding on to them and stuffing them in a bank. Trust me, that the same bank will rob you. That's the plan of all banks. You hear about bank robbery and bank robbery. The bank is the robber. The bank will take your paper and turn it into real wealth, especially when the paper day comes to an end. Because the day the dollar died, as the reggae singer would have said, who's that? Peter Tosh, the day the dollar died, the dollar will die. Marcus Messiah Garvey, the Holy One, said that we will see money blowing in the wind and nobody running it down. So don't get caught up in the paper. Yes, the paper is just the medium, but I mean, paper comes on the computer now. You don't even have to see paper anymore, depending on the type of business that you do. So it's not, don't get caught up in that. That's a poor man's mentality, that all your money can fit in your pocket and all of that kind of stuff. No, we got to grow, but we can't grow unless we unite properly with one understanding, really one mind, one aim, one destiny, everything Marcus Messiah Garvey told us. But here bickering over these little foolish things, I mean, this is something else. You know, I personally, outside of all of that, So let's see the vision properly, family. I know I've been here for a while. I'm not going to hold you up anymore. Let's see the vision properly. Yeah? That's why we have these motivational classes where we encourage people to, on a personal level, get that mentality to thrive. You have to have a thriving mentality, not just make out mentality. And all right, I just want to just take care of my family. That can't work. And then you're teaching your family to think like that. That cannot work. Not unless, I mean, if you're really a God figure and you're a child of God and you really on the work of Rastafari and you really want to see the nation build, we got to have a different mindset. Those who will be leaving here soon or whenever you leave, you want to leave something at least to say, well, yeah, okay, we brought it this far. So we leave it in the capable hands of those who will carry it that far. And leave it in the capable hands of those who will bring it a next distance. So when you reincarnate again, you can comfortably be born in a royal Bobo family, in a Bobo kingdom. What do you say about that one? That's what it is. You're actually doing it for yourself. Can't just be living and happy in New York or in Jamaica or wherever you are, just cooling out and just and everything good and yes, Bobo. No, 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 no. We have work to do. We have a kingdom to raise. But it's not just talking and coming on these platforms and chatting. No, we have a kingdom to raise. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Look, I on the platform chatting too, but it's not something wrong with this. But I'm just showing you that we need to put agenda in order. And I'm not just saying that. I would have, but maybe that's not for this platform. And we continually are working on that. You better believe it. As I said, that's my goal. My goal, not my goal for Bobo Shanti or my goal for Rastafari. What I'm explaining to you is my personal goal. But obviously, there are many targets in between here and that goal. And targets need to have numbers, Rastafari. So all what I'm saying there, what kind of numbers you think it need to start that work? Just to begin, just to start to think about even establishing a proper campus in a state in Africa. Whether you get land free or land free not. I mean, just to begin to think personally, I think you need at least 9 million United States dollars just to begin to think about the process. And that money itself, again, would have to, a lot of that would still have to be reinvested to flip and come again, because that itself ain't gonna do enough. Not even close, because remember, it's a whole billion-dollar industry you would need to start to create all of these kingdoms into the empire that we are talking about in every state of Africa. Gated communities with all the infrastructures, even down to the road infrastructure alone is one thing. That alone, just to understand that. But remember, we have industries, whatever it is, we're making pillows. Yes, of course, we're making brooms. As I said, we're making yachts, we're making cruise ships, we're making jet planes, we're making it all. We're making vehicles. What do you mean we can't do that? This is Emmanuel order. You see me personally? Me personally. I'm talking me, Honorable Priest Isaac. This is why I do what I do. When I take the word of the Black Christ and I put it in a package and I get it to the right people, people convert to this thing. So all them degreed engineers, I'm telling you, I can convert them. Just using the term, I can turn their hearts to Emmanuel order. All them astronomers, astrologers. I'm not asking you, it's what I've done already. You see? But you see, some of us, we don't even understand the importance of this ministry too. the ministry of getting the word out, which is like the beginning. This is the beginning aspect. That's why we do this with all our heart, because we understand the importance of this aspect of the work. That's why, again, you don't see me asking for no support and contribute. Yeah, again, I do specific programs like the essay competition and specific things. And at times we have maybe Webathon or whatever, but it's not no thing. You know that. If it's one thing, you can't say this brother is coming and say, hey, well, make sure, remember, you have the donation button down there. Yeah, we do have donation buttons, we have we have all of that, because it is really the duty of those who really benefit from the well of not just knowledge, but mystic information, to contribute. No. But what we do, we hopefully show an example as business people by creating products and services. I cannot even tell you off my head how many products and services I have available right now that any one of you could purchase. That is why, if you really appreciate the work you see us do, you would at least patronize the work, not contribute on Patreon, patronize, meaning you buy the goods, you buy the services, whatever it is we're offering, because obviously it will be on another level than what you're even watching, what you delight in so much. But that's how you show appreciation, because the work that is being done here, as I said a moment ago, it's designed in such a way that it can turn the hearts of doctors, it can turn the hearts of engineers, it can turn the hearts of pastors. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Some of them may not fully yet put on the garb, but they would tell you clearly, yes, my brother. Wow, I see it. Tell me a little more about Prince Emmanuel again, because this man really has the science. You understand? That's what we have. That's the power we have, Oh my, don't even talk about people that never really understood Haile Selassie and you break it down for them. Wow, like, you serious? And I'm talking of politicians, millionaires, and different ones who never really comprehended anything conscious and never really could place Haile Selassie, although they hear the Rasta man speak about him, in the true context of geopolitics and even civilization as we know it today. So our whole work, as you see, our whole institute, our whole programs and courses and everything is to bring the reality of Rastafari to the world as well. Haile Selassie, the order of the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, the Bobo Shanti order, and ones would have turned their heart towards this because of our advocacy, and that's the truth. I can tell you for sure, you understand. But again, just turning their hearts without a proper kingdom for them to come and inhabit now, that's another thing. And that is why we need to put that in place much sooner than later. And if collectively we are not ready to cooperate with each other, because that seems to be an issue, those of us who have risen to the standard, especially economically, would have to really take charge, to say the least, especially if we've been gifted with the spiritual understanding and love for the order to the point that we want to keep it pure. I don't see that the Black Christ will stop us or impede our march forward at all. But yeah, family, I think I would have taken enough time from you today. First day of January, what is considered a new year. And as I said, from my reckoning and understanding of the elders' words, and even my understanding of what the Black Christ himself would have said. I understand that the 1st of January is considered to be that celebration moment of when Abraham returned to visit Melchizedek once again. So I'm very thankful. Yes, give thanks, Royal Family. Remember, you still have the opportunity to register for the course that I will be doing this evening. It is this evening, tonight at 7 p.m., the first course, the first class, really, 7 p.m. sharp. It's going to be a beautiful sit down. And then tomorrow evening, the 2nd of January, all this is in accord with the Earth Day celebration. So those who will be sitting in with me, it will be blessed. Now, this is one way also that you support, family. This is a way of supporting. And this is not a donation. You are getting something that will seriously benefit you. And at the end of it, you're going to get a certification. Remember, I am certified in the craft of archaeoastronomy. So you're getting a certificate from me of attendance, albeit, I can't give you no degrees as such, but all of that is what we're working on, because we don't need the world to certify us, but still at the same time, we are diplomats, so we know how to go through it. But again, when you enroll, you literally are supporting us when you enroll in our ancient astronomy course, which I would encourage everyone to enroll in the ancient astronomy course. That's the online course, which you can literally do at your own leisure, your own time. Very beneficial. And again, a part of the reparation. We will be creating many more courses. We will be advancing our curriculum that we have, and we will be going forward from highlands to higher lands, especially in the Ministry of Education. We have already established the Ministry of Education, but it will be more officially established and even launched as an example going forward for us as members of this Congress in this time. Hey, give thanks for your patient listening and your rapt attention, all heart a celebration. And of course, the Christmas coming through, 7th of January. Yes. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, blessed love.